we were talking about modes of heat transfer. Actually, we started right from here. बात हमारी यहाँ से चली थी. Modes of heat transfer. Heat transfer. And that is, there are three modes of heat transfer. One of them is conduction. Second one is convection. Okay. The third one is your radiation. Okay, these three modes are there, and we have to discuss these three modes in detail. That is radiation. Okay, so let's talk about conduction first. What do you think about conduction? Thermal conduction. Actually, we are talking about thermal conduction, not electrical conduction. Usually, conduction means to transfer. Okay, when we say, yeah, we are going to conduct a class. Actually, we are going to manage, we are going to arrange, we are going to transfer something. So conduction mean in concept of thermals, what we say that when the heat is exchanged due to vibration of particles in solids, that is called your conduction, right? So typically I'm talking about this point when the heat is transferred, when heat is transferred due to vibration of atoms of solids and diffusion of free electrons. I will explain it in detail, don't worry. Diffusion of free electrons is called thermal conduction. It is the definition what you have to write in your exam. Is called thermal conduction. Here I have emphasized on three main points. One of them is vibration of atoms. This is one important, very important point. Second point is solids, and third one is the diffusion of free electrons. Right? These are the key words for your conduction. Remember this thing that conduction involves what 2 points or what 3 points? Yes. If I make a map of conduction, what should I do or what should I consider? थक गए हो सारे? That's why I asked you all. Conduction is vibration of atoms, vibration of atoms, and diffusion of free electrons, diffusion of free electrons. I'm talking about free electrons, and this all is happening where? In solids. Okay, is it clear? So in solids, either both of these mechanisms are going on or any one of them. Okay, so when we say that both of these are any two, so that is basically conduction, right? So I'm just going to write a sentence over here. So either both takes place at a time, either both takes place at a time, or any one of them, right? Or one of them. So let's have a detail insights. In non-metals are, insulators, actually insulators, what happens? Only vibration of atoms takes place. Okay, vibration of atoms takes place to transfer the heat. How do they do that? For example, I have an atom over here. I have another atom over here. Atom number 3, atom number 4, and so on. These 4 are enough. I'm going to heat up this atom over here from any source. I'm going to heat it up. Due to this heat, it is getting actually energy from here. So what will happen to this atom? It will start vibrating, right? And due to vibration, it will interact with atom number 2. This is your atom number 1. This is your atom number 2. This is your atom number 3. This is your atom number 4. This end is still cold one, and you are going to make it hot. So what will happen? This interaction will basically transferred to atom number 2. Atom number 2 will vibrate and it will interact with atom number 3. Right? And then atom number 3 will interact with atom number 4, and so on and so on. And sorry finally this nth atom, whatever that is, it would get hot. But it takes a lot of time, because it is not that much fast process. One atom will vibrate, it will hit this 2, then 2 will transfer energy to 3, 3 will transfer to 4, and so on. So it is a long time taking process. It is a time taking process. So that's why, you know what happens in woods, for example, in wood, rubber, plastic, ceramic, glass, they have this behavior of transfer of heat. That's why they are poor conductors. They are poor conductor of heat.
Sir,
Are
would
you
be
getting it? Sorry?
would be
Yes, would be transfer nahi karta, right? So I have enlisted all poor conductors are good thermal insulators, right? So they are good thermal insulators. Wool, yes, I forgot about the wool because it is winter, so we have to consider that. Wool is also a good thermal insulator. They are good thermal insulators. Okay, ji? Insulators. So they do not let the heat to go through faster. Actually, they do not let it. Actually, because if I have a layer of glass from atom 1 to atom 5 or 6, heat would die out until unless I'm not going to heat it up a lot. That's why I just say that this method is not an efficient method of heat transfer, right? So this conduction in solids like these non-metals, it is not an efficient method of thermal energy transfer. Instead of that, let's talk about metals. पता है metals में क्या होता है? There are free electrons along with these atoms. Okay, now these are atoms, they are vibrating, and this atom is liberating either 1 or 2 electrons. These electrons would move and they will interact this point. From here they will release one more electron. It means here now there are 2 electrons to transfer or travel. They are liberating one more electron from this atom. Now how many electrons are there? 3 electrons. In this way, number of electrons are increasing. One more. So here there are 4. So as you move ahead, how many electrons you are getting? More and more and more electrons are there. So actually, there are less number of free electrons. There are less number of or smaller number of free electrons. Is it on the colder end? At cold end. But what about the hot end? More electrons at hot end. Actually, more free electrons, not electron, more free electrons,
सर ये हम इसमें किसकी बात कर रहे हैं?
metals की,
अच्छा,
right? ये सारे का सारा, actually this all is taking place in our metals. Cut and let me paste it over here. Yes. Right? So this all is happening in metal. किसमें हो रहा है ये सारे का सारा? This all happens in metals. This all happens in metals. So in metals, there are two ways for energy transfer. What are those two? One, vibration of atoms. Vibration of atoms. It is a slow mechanism, but diffusion of free electron is very faster. You know, electron moves with a speed of almost 1/100th of a speed of light. So whenever they would be free, they would move rapidly from one point to another point. So diffusion of free electrons from hot end to the cold. You know why I'm calling it diffusion? बायो कौन पढ़ता आप में से? Or do you take chemistry? How many of you take chemistry?
Yes.
yes sir.
Okay. So diffusion mean the where more electrons are there and portion where they are less. So they move from more to less. Here the electrons are more and here electrons are less. So this is called your diffusion. So that electrons are moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Is it clear to all of you? So
Yes.
during this process, you know what happens? This makes the transfer of energy rapid. Okay, this makes the thermal conduction very rapid. Thermal conduction too rapid. So that all is happening in metals. That's why your metals are very good conductor of thermal energy. Now did you get it? Metals are very good conductors of heat. Very good conductors of heat. So they are thermal conductors. So what are the application areas of these properties of materials? Yes, who will tell me? कोई भी नहीं बता सकता. Why do you use wool in winter?
Because it's good insulator.
Yes, it is behaving like a thermal insulator. Why do we have these utensils with metal base and wooden or plastic handles? हाँ जी. मीरब
Yes sir.
बताइए.
Sir, because when we touch it so that we don't feel hot, because the handle, it's made up of plastic, and plastic is, it does not absorb heat, like it's a good insulator of heat,
Yes.
so therefore it's easy for us to just hold it.
ऐसे ही होता है ना. Right? This is your plastic handle. But if we will make it metal handle, what will happen to our hand? It will transfer a lot of energy, and due to that energy, actually we will burn. So we don't want that energy would be transferred beyond this point. So this is metal. So we make this base with very good thermal conductor, so that whatever the heat do we provide it from the heat source, it must absorb all of that and it transfer to the material which is inside. So these are good conductors, these areas are very good conductors, and these handles are insulators, are poor thermal conductors, you can say in other words. So is this clear? Similarly, when we are
Yes.
going to have a soldering iron, did you ever see that soldering iron? Any one of you? Tip of
What?
soldering iron is made up of copper. It is something like that. I will try my best to draw it if I would be able to do that. Right here is some heating filament inside. Okay, here is a wire. So this is its tip. Usually, this tip is made up of copper. This one. I don't know what color should I give to copper. Yes, this one. So this is made up of copper, so that it must conduct heat from this heater. This is the heater. Did you ever see this device?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, ये आपके पास हैंडल है, right? And this is your copper tip. So it transfers all of the heat from metal to the edge where we need it, and it does not transfer heat towards our hand. So here the heat is not being transferred. ऐसे ही है ना? Here heat is not being transferred, but here we need a lot of heat. That's why we transfer the heat. Yes. So actually, this is what these are some applications. I believe that you know a lot of applications other than these. So these were fews. So if you have some of the applications in your mind, you can write and you can remember those applications. Okay, is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we will talk about convection and radiation in my next lesson, inshallah. Okay.
Love it, sir.
See you inshallah, and please go through the topical ones, because we do not have time to complete the topicals after I would be done with syllabus.